Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to talk to you about the new competitive playlist in Overwatch and show off some awesome Pharah gameplay where I managed to go 25-0 in ranked, which I was very happy with, and I managed to die just before we scored the point, so I didn't quite get that perfect game. But in case you haven't heard, Overwatch now has a competitive beta mode that's available for the PTR, Public Test Region server. I played 10 games tonight and got up to rank 45. What that means, I don't exactly know. Ranks go from 0 to 100, with 100 being the best and 0 being the worst, but I'm not sure if it's linear, logarithmic, or exactly how it scales. I guess I'm average-ish, maybe a little below average, we'll find out. There are some good things and some bad things. We'll go over the good things first. Number one, Overwatch plays great competitively. I said this from the get-go, and I said this a while back while I was watching some of the first competitive scrimmages, but playing it myself firsthand competitively, the gameplay is great. It works really well with sweaties and tryhards. It's a different sort of meta than public matches, but it still plays well. The matchmaking system that they have works fairly well, and it seems to keep everybody in elo. You don't get any sort of crazy out of elo matches, which is a good thing, and probably most importantly, it shows the pre-made parties in the lobby. When you queue up, you can see your pre-made party, and when you look at the other team you're playing against, it groups them together so you can see how many people are in parties. If it's 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 1 big group of 6, it lets you know exactly what the parties are, so you know who and who will be communicating and who won't be. It also tries to match you with other pre-made lobbies if you're in a pre-made lobby. So I played mostly with a pre-made lobby of 4, and it matched me mostly with other pre-made lobbies of 4 with 2 randoms. We all had a pre-made of 3, and then I think we had a 3 groups of 2, but it mostly gave us pre-made groups of 4, which is very, very good. Also, another thing I like is that leaving the game gives you a loss. Quitting penalties should be high, but it's a little bit screwed up. We're going to talk about the quitting penalties when we go to the negative section. Ranking is based on individual performance, thank goodness, so you can actually rank up if you perform really well in a game, but your team still loses. It's not quite as team dependent as League of Legends, which will help keep out some toxicity, and with 6 people, that's a good thing because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Unfortunately, it's not very clear as to what performances count as good or bad, so I don't exactly know what is a good Lucio performance compared to a bad Zarya performance. I don't know exactly how that pans out, and it doesn't tell you at the end of the game whether you did good or bad elo-wise. That's kind of up in the air. There should be an indicator for that. I will say that for a ranked playlist, the players are largely positive, though being in big groups definitely helps, and randoms tend to fill team comps much better than I thought they would. I thought it would be like League of Legends where it's like, I demand top, I will only play top. No, the Randys seem to fill in healers and tanks and slayers and roles as needed, and most importantly, was it fun? Yes, it was fun. However, there are some bad things. The bad things are that people do tend to quit when they're losing, and they quit a lot. This typically happens in the first, I don't know, minute or 2 of the game. If we're getting smashed or things aren't going great, they'll just bounce, and it kind of shafts you in 2 different ways. Number one is that the penalty for leaving a game is a loss, and without a player, you're pretty much not going to win, so it's like League of Legends. It kind of encourages you to quit when another random player quits. And it has this little weird warning that says you can, like, if you have a player drop, you have like 45 seconds that you can quit and not get an elo penalty, but you still get a loss on your record, and it was a little bit confusing to me, so I stuck it out, and I ended up quitting later and getting the elo penalty, so that should probably be a little bit more clear as to what's going on. Also, probably more importantly, you don't get a win if the enemy team forfeits. We ran into this where we completely wrecked an enemy team. We just murdered them. We were mowing over them, and they quit very, very early into the game. And we didn't get a win because Blizzard said that the match hadn't gone on long enough. Like, we were actually about to win, but they quit so early in the game, we didn't get that win. And I think that's kind of crapola. When the enemy team quits or forfeits, you should definitely get a win that counts for your elo. You also have no ability to report AFKers, trolls, or toxic players, so that's definitely an issue. We didn't have any trolls, but I know that in solo queue there are some. And I will say that the rules for the maps are kind of crazy. There is a rhyme and reason to them, but the scoring system works completely different than public matches. Some of them are based on time, some of them are based on how far you push the payload or how many neutral points you capture. It's not as straightforward as public matches. There's a consistency to it, thankfully, but it threw me off and confused the hell out of me at first, but I did get used to it later on. Overall, a very strong start from Blizzard. Got some things to fix, some things to improve, and I do think it'll get better over time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this short commentary. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.